All right. Let's get into it then.
Let's get into it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Welcome back. I'm Carl Matsumoto.
And I'm Josiah Matsumoto.
And this is MOTOsport.
Sport.
Pew, pew, pew. Pew, pew, pew.
We're so good at this.
Oh my God. Maybe it's because we've done it before. Right before this.
Oh, man. I didn't know if we were going to mention it.
Oh, we're mentioning it.
All right.
In the name of transparency.
All right.
We already recorded this podcast.
Yeah.
And then someone closed the computer.
While we were recording.
Turns
out we didn't record most of the podcast.
Why would that person close the computer?
Especially when that person was so excited about having a computer now instead of just a phone in front of that person.
It was me. I closed the computer. I closed the computer. We got 20 minutes of sound and then nothing.
But we did continue talking for a good hour.
We talked. Josiah said we just pretended to do a podcast for an hour and a half.
We did. And so we're back to do it again.
Oh, yes. With wine this time.
Of course. Always with wine. Notably, why we're doing our own sound effects.
We're not doing our own sound effects.
Well, we kind of did, is my point.
True.
And notably absent today is our on-air producer, Jared Thompson. And
he's
out of office.
You got it.
I got it.
You got it.
Because it should be ooh.
Ooh.
'Cause what if that was like, what if you could do that on emails? You'd say, oh, I'm out of time. Instead of just like an out of office, like automatic reply, it's just a sound and it's ooh.
Oh my God, that should be a thing.
And it just says, oh.
When I go on my honeymoon, I'll record you going, ooh. Did I say when I go on my honeymoon?
Yeah, alone? Wait. Where am I going?
When I go on my... Oh, no.
I'll still do it for you, even though it's also my honeymoon.
Yes. We are going on a honeymoon together.
Yes.
As a married couple.
Yes.
3 years later.
3 years in. Third time's the charm. Third year's the charm, I guess. I don't know. Third year is the honeymoon.
Third year is the honeymoon.
Year 3 is the new honeymoon.
Yes.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
LOL. But anyway, yeah, Jared's ooh. So here we are, not saving our files, closing the computer.
Right.
All because Jared's not here.
Yeah. It's definitely his fault. How dare he take a vacation?
How dare you?
On race weekend?
Gonna be a thing.
Yeah, we're gonna make this a thing.
This is your new out of office automatic reply. Ooh.
Let us know if you want one. We'll do it for you.
For a small fee.
Yeah, small fee.
Yeah. Wow.
All right. Should we do some housekeeping before we forget? All right. Subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast. I know you found it, but subscribe so you're always reminded. And you know as soon as we release one. Follow us on social media at motosportpod across the board.
Indeed.
Yes. And then
email us
your questions, thoughts, feedback at motosportpod@gmail.com. Oh, should we rate? Also, give us a review.
Oh, yeah. Rate us and review.
That's not on our list, but we need to add it to the list. Rate us and review us. Yeah, we want to hear your feedback.
It's because we haven't updated this show order.
We're using the same
since the first episode. So it's the same piece of paper. So it's not going to have updates on it.
And last but not least, this is a spoilers episode, of course. If you have not seen the race in Australia, go watch the race or watch a recap or go to our Instagram/TikTok at motosportpod and watch the grid notes.
Grid notes.
Official new name.
Grid notes. Grid notes.
Yeah. Oats.
Yeah. Oats.
I love grid notes. I think it's a great name for it. It's a good segment.
It's grids on grids on grids.
Grids on grids on grids.
It's grids for the bullet journal.
Grid City.
Grid City. Grid City.
We're in a song mood today.
We are. We really are. Wow.
All right.
Anything?
Oh, new segment?
Oh, yes.
Right?
I wasn't sure if we were done with housekeeping.
I think that's it for housekeeping. Go watch grid notes.
Yeah, and thank you for everyone who listens.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for being here.
Very
Shout
cool.
out all of you.
Yes.
You're the cool ones in the world. Lawrence. You are.
Indeed.
Lawrence.
New segment. In the news.
In the news. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Welcome to Zoom Zoom in the news.
Zoom Zoom in the news.
I like Zoom Zoom in the news. That's a good title.
Hey guys, it's Zoom Zoom in the news.
Hey guys. My name's Carl. Welcome to Zoom Zoom in the news.
And that's the intro sound for Zoom Zoom in the news. Anyway, yeah, we don't know the title of this segment, but I think that was a good. Yeah. I think we just came up with it. Yeah, for sure. Essentially, I wanted to circle back on a few things and provide updates and new news
in the world of F1.
Yeah,
we're talking about culture. This is a culture segment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, it's never been done before on this podcast, so we don't know.
Any podcast?
Yeah, no other podcast does this.
Yeah, nobody talks about what's going on sort of around the sport.
No, that's not the interesting part. Okay. Anyways, we last week talked about the sort of bad press that seems to follow Max Verstappen.
Yes.
And I have a few updates on that. In particular, news about Kelly, Max's girlfriend's dad, Nelson Piquet.
Okay.
Nelson Piquet, 3-time world champion.
3-time?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I think last week we talked about him.
Yeah, made a racist comment.
Yeah, racist comment.
2021
about Lewis Hamilton. And was facing charges. And then between last episode and this episode, he was actually charged a little under $1 million for moral liabilities, I suppose. You could say.
Yeah, but who did we figure this out? Like who is that paid to?
Yeah, it's allocated to funds for like the human rights organizations that sort of brought the charges on.
Cool.
Yeah, so it's going to fund the promotion of racial equity against discrimination specifically.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, that's really. I'm glad something positive happened out of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's that. Good news. That's good news.
Yeah. Say more racist things and pay people for it. I don't know. Don't do that.
I also want to talk about Jos Verstappen.
Jos?
Jos?
I thought it was Joss.
I'm pretty sure it's Jose.
Or Yeoh.
I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
Jose. Anyway, as you can tell or guess, this is Max's father. But after Jeddah, there was all this criticism and TikToks about how Jose didn't shake Checo's hand.
Oh, sure. Did he like walk right past him in a rude way?
No, he just didn't acknowledge Checo when Checo came down the line and was like greeting his team and whatever. And
sure.
he
and
did.
Jose was there.
Jose was there. And it actually came out that like Jose did shake Checo's hand later, just wasn't caught in the shot and like whatever. But the number of like people who came out to defend Jose Verstappen was like a little bit weird to me because even if he did shake Checo's hand, like this is a bad man.
Yeah, like that's the only nice thing he's done ever, except for his son.
Yeah,
paying for him to.
Oh sure, I was like, what?
Be in the sport.
Yeah,
forcing him, but probably. But I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But
yeah, he's like not a good person. Like famously not good people.
No, he has like criminal charges against him, and
that's like,
isn't that wild?
That's wild, right?
Him
like, and you said him and his dad.
So,
Max's dad and grandfather.
Yes, I think one of his this was one of his earlier charges where he and Jose's father were charged in like smashing in the skull of another driver, and he's been charged with murder for trying to hit his ex-wife with his car.
What?
Yeah, there's a lot of like abuse.
That's insane.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I just thought it was interesting.
Man, a lot of crime in this sport.
Oh, yeah.
Not surprising, I guess. It's rich people.
I know. Rich people love crimes.
They do.
They love crimes and they just get away with them.
That's because crimes aren't crimes for the rich.
Well, yeah. That's all the stuff that's surrounding Max.
That's wild. But like, oh yeah, and we were saying before, like, the first time we recorded this, that you can it is interesting to see that perspective of like how Max was probably brought up.
Yeah.
And probably a very abusive situation. Mm-hmm. And controlling environment. And yeah, I don't know. Just
it makes you feel a little bad for Max because
for the 2-time world champion.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I do like.
I mean, yeah, there's some trauma there probably, and
I'm sure
it's surprising that he is as good-ish or not as bad of a person as you. I mean,
maybe he's just better at hiding it than his dad.
True.
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, and that's led to some, like all the controversy surrounding Max has led to some theories that that's the reason Daniel was brought on, was just for good press.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which is weird. I don't think that's true. That doesn't make a lot of sense. Daniel has driven the Red Bull. He knows it. Like, he was good in it.
Yeah.
Like, he was great for that team for a long time.
Yeah.
Their number one driver for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I mean, I'm like, that might have been part of it.
I think it's a mutually beneficial decision. Totally. I think Daniel does well on that team, just personality-wise. And
then working with the top team in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the sport.
Theories. Okay, the last thing on Zoom in the news that I want to talk about,
in the news.
Yeah, is the Michelle Yeoh.
Oh yes, forgot about this
connection.
Oh yeah, Jean Todt.
T-O-D-T.
Todt.
Jean Todt, formerly the
everything apparently.
Team principal of Ferrari, then the CEO of Ferrari, and then the president of the FIA, has been with
the trifecta.
Been with Michelle Yeoh, apparently.
Yeah,
according to Wikipedia, they've been quote unquote living together since 2004.
Yeah. Ambiguous much?
Yeah. Also, when I go and look at Jean Tote's Wikipedia profile,
as you do,
the lead is totally buried. There's not a mention of Michelle Yeoh until the way bottom.
And truly, how dare they? How dare Wikipedia not respect Michelle Yeoh enough to put her above his accolades in the sport of Formula One? How dare they?
Jean Tote's Wikipedia page should just be about Michelle Yeoh.
Absolutely. Why wouldn't it be?
Obviously.
That's clearly the only thing he's got going on now. No longer working, apparently. Famously retired.
No, but that like blew my mind.
That's wild. It's amazing.
Blew my mind.
I know. I love the relations we get with F1 sometimes. Like when the right things cross over in our worlds, they're like, oh, the people we love the sport we love. It's great.
Right? It's so like, ooh,
yeah.
You too, yay.
It's so fascinating. Like, yeah, I'm hoping that any chance she's going to be in Spain for the race? Maybe.
Michelle Yeoh, we know you're listening.
Yeah, we know you like this podcast.
Please go to Spain for the Grand Prix.
Go to Spain. Say
and
hello
find
to
us.
Yeah, and invite us to hang out maybe. if you want. Yes. Oh, yeah, because we're going to Spain.
Yeah. The honeymoon referenced earlier was a trip to Spain.
Yeah.
And Morocco. But we'll be there this year.
Going to the race.
Going to Spain. The Grand Prix.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
It's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's not just my honeymoon. It's both of ours.
Oh, it's mine too?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
I'm just making sure we're still recording.
That's a good thing. I mean, we got to do regular checkups now.
I know.
Just to be safe.
So paranoid about it.
It's probably good to check the time anyways. Mm-hmm. We should move on.
We should move on, actually.
All right, let's actually talk about the race.
Yeah. Zoom in the news is dead.
Yeah. Goodbye, Zoom in the news. And
hello,
Australia.
Australia.
Wow, what a race, first of all.
Wow. Wild. Lots of things happened.
Never would have expected
3 red flags.
An unprecedented.
3
red flags. Oh, a record even, apparently.
Yeah. Wild and confusing and
choices. Like none of it, so much of it didn't make sense. Like even if so for me, the first red flag I appreciated because it meant they spent less time under the safety car,
following
the safety car, and then they got to do a proper restart and have more race. Like I like that choice, but apparently it was wildly confusing. And the announcers and everyone in the paddock and all the teams were like, this has not happened before. Why would you do a red flag right now? This is uncalled for. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, people were confused and wondering sort of what was the impetus for a red flag. Like, what are the parameters that set a red flag? And it just seems like all around there's not a lot of transparency or consistency or any clarity around the rules. And that really showed today.
Yes.
Or that really showed in this race.
And the way that the FIA makes their decisions, it's ridiculous.
It's behind closed doors.
Yeah. And I can understand because I think they rotate some people who each race they rotate people though because there's 3 different directors.
So there's
different people there each race, which is part of. They were trying to make it more consistent and more reliable, so that there's no one opinion swaying everything too much. But it seems to be inconsistent still. It just is not there's. It's not clear. It's more behind closed doors, and they have been they've been hammering down on more rules, but they've been very inconsistent about it.
Yes, because in one of the pre-race shows, Will Buxton was saying that there were other cars besides Ocon and Alonso who were not lined up correctly at the start of the grid for the race.
But only Alonso and Ocon got penalized.
And they were all confused.
Subsequent penalties because of it. And
right?
Screwed out of the race because of it.
It's really
wild.
Like, FIA biggest losers.
For real. Yeah, and that's the segment, biggest losers right now.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
FIA is the biggest loser of this race. Like, I don't know. It's just so confusing. It's so confusing. And like, it says something that this race also, they widened all of the boxes that the cars have to be in so that there is no more, so that they won't be penalizing them anymore. So they knew that it didn't matter, and they knew that it was irrelevant because like lining up a little bit off doesn't give you an advantage.
Yeah.
And then they also knew that other people were doing it and they were only penalizing a couple.
It doesn't.
Why? It's so confusing.
Yeah, and then all the decisions made throughout the race in terms of
that
how
last
to conduct
restart,
the restart, or the second to last restart.
Oh, yeah, the second to last restart. Even though there wasn't really a last restart because it was just one lap of safety.
Yeah, so there was a restart after Albon's crash out, and then there was a restart after Magnussen. Yes. And this was like 55, 56 laps in.
Yeah. There were like 4 laps left for when the red flag was thrown, or 3. Yeah, because then it was going to be 1 lap under safety car and then a restart for 2 laps. Yeah, which is insane. And they decided to do a standing start, which I think is a terrible idea.
Because the entire 10, 15, well, also that, but also like the 15 minutes before they went racing again, they started again. Everything was about, look at how the sun is hitting their eyes. Look at how the sun is hitting their visors. They can't see anything.
Literally,
it's
and
visibility.
Going into turn 1 and turn 3, like you can't see anything at that point. Like, why are you making unsafe decisions like this? Like,
literally,
do a restart, great, fine, but like make it a rolling start. Or finish it under a safety car if you want. Like, at that point in the race when everybody's already been driving for 2 hours and you're exhausted and you can't see and you just had a quick break, which makes no sense, and then do a standing start at a point in the race where people are like, well, I can make something of this and I can totally gun it and gain positions. And if you don't do that and everyone else around you is doing that, you lose out.
So everyone's gonna go for it.
Yeah, you have to. So it forces an unsafe situation. Because, like, you can choose safety at the beginning of the race a little bit and make it up in the next however many laps. You have the whole race to go. But when there's only 2 laps left, you're like, I have to make sure I'm doing my best. And that's it. And then, of course, everyone crashes out.
Everyone is gone.
Just
immediately.
Gone. Like 8 DNFs. Not all of them were there, but, like, a lot of them were.
A lot of them were, and it was a whole mess of a situation. It was like one of those things where you like every angle there were cars just like spinning out.
Insane. And then, of course, Carlos is the only one who gets out of there with a penalty.
Yeah. So there were, I think, 3 collisions under the second restart. It was
Carlos and Alonso.
It was the 2 Alpines, Ocon and Gasly.
That crashed each other out.
Yes. And then Sargent took out De Vries.
Okay.
And
himself. Because his rear wheel ran over De Vries'
They
front
both
wheel.
went out, correct. But Sainz was the only one who got a 5-second penalty for allegedly sort of causing all of the mayhem. Which is like, FIA, you caused the mayhem.
Yeah.
And also to penalize the person who also was able to stay in the race and the person he collided with stayed in the race.
Yeah.
And maintained their position. I don't know. That was it was a really unfair
call. It's a tough situation to be in. You can't see. You tell where people are around you exactly because you can't see, and you have to be going as hard as possible. So of course somebody's going to hit somebody, and I don't think that was Carlos's fault. And I don't think he should have gotten a penalty.
Yeah, and honestly,
especially because they restarted again and finished under a safety car.
Right.
So 5 seconds literally means he's in the back of the race instead of fourth.
Exactly. 5 seconds is a big liability.
Insane. They chose that. The FIA was like, no, Carlos Sainz, instead of fourth, we're giving you 12th place.
Yeah, to push you from fourth to out of the points for something that...
Ferrari had a rough day, but usually
a lot of
it's
times strategy.
It's their fault, and this time
it was just really unlucky.
Really, really, truly unlucky.
Yeah.
Carlos was having a great weekend and didn't deserve that.
I know.
Sorry, Carlos.
To go from fourth to 12th.
I know.
The saddest radio message.
For real.
Really. Ugh.
I know.
So bad. He was
just so defeated.
I know, because imagine 3 safety cars.
I know, and you had a great race too. You really fought for it, and man.
Yeah. So unfortunately, Ferrari were losers.
Although, I don't know. It's hard to call anybody losers in this one because it really was mostly the FIA.
I know, right?
Yeah.
They caused all of it.
It's so annoying. There's no reasons the Alpines should have been out.
Mm-hmm.
They were having a great race. Gasly was having an amazing race.
Yeah. Gasly
had a good weekend.
Had maintained 5th for most of the race. And then...
that was going to be their best result of the season.
Easily.
And, man, just a rough coincidence. Well, not coincidence. Rough situation.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just, I guess, was anybody else a real loser?
Yeah. Alex Albon was a real loser.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
I know. He was having such a good weekend.
Such a good weekend. He had the fastest second sector the whole weekend.
I know.
He was faster than anybody else in the second sector.
I was going to say, though, he had a good enough weekend to leave a Google review on Albert Park Circuit.
Okay, wait. I saw that, but was that actually him? He did that?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was actually him.
Hilarious.
Yeah, Alex Albon left a Google review or some sort of review
or something
on Albert Circuit.
In Melbourne, Australia.
Yeah, Albert Park Circuit, and was like, great facilities, would recommend Sector 2. Yeah. Had a great time in Q3. It was really funny.
So funny. Man, I love him. He's so good. He's so lighthearted for the sport.
I know. And then unfortunately the next day he went and crashed out.
I know. But he was doing so good. I mean, he qualified. He went to Q3, qualified, P10? No, that was Nico Hulkenberg.
P8.
He was P8.
Yeah.
Having an amazing weekend. In a Williams. The slippery Willy. Slippery Williams. Slippery Will.
No. Okay. I don't know if that's going to work.
Slippery Willy.
They did keep describing the Williams as a slippery car.
They keep talking about it that way.
Slip and slide, man.
And he was sliding all over. It was great. Slipping through.
Until he wasn't sliding all over.
And then, I think he just pushed it a little too far because he was having such a good time in Sector 2 that...
But I'm excited for him.
I am too.
He seems to know the car and feel comfortable in it.
He's got a much better handle on it. And it seems to be performing better than previous years.
Fastest in the straight line.
Oh, yeah. I keep forgetting that because it doesn't make any sense.
What?
I'm like, Williams? Because it's so slippery.
Williams?
Because it's so slippery.
Yes. Yeah. So unfortunate time for Albon, but you'll get him next time.
Absolutely.
And the other DNFers were losers.
Yeah,
Magnussen and Russell. Leclerc, yeah.
Sargent, De Vries, Ocon, Gasly. Everyone didn't finish. There's 8 DNFs.
Oh my
8.
God.
8. That's wild.
Oof.
Yeah. Ugh. So, biggest loser, FIA.
You better get your act together. Or get your act together.
Other than all that, it was a fun race.
Yeah.
Like those 4 DRS zones really make a difference. It's wild.
It's kind of wild.
It's kind of too much.
I feel like the announcers were kind of alluding to the fact that they were like, it's a lot.
It's kind of too big an advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like maybe if you're going to do 4 zones, make one smaller. Because the back-to-back, I think it's 3 and 4, they're like right next to each other. Yeah. So you get 2 huge zones of huge pace advantage.
Huge zones! 2 huge zones.
With a huge pace advantage. All for $10.99.
I knew you were going to do that.
Anyways, biggest winners. Because there were some winners. It was a fun race. Lots of good driving.
All of the back of the grid teams were biggest winners this weekend.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not wrong.
Ended up doing really well, and they've been doing very poorly. Although Norris was looking good anyways. He was having a good race.
I think Norris didn't.
I think Piastri ended up in a much better position because of some of the damage that was done.
I don't know, because they were like in the midfield for most of the race.
That's fair. I just feel like I saw Oscar get passed a lot, and I saw Norris passing a lot.
Sure.
Did he start? Who started ahead? Who qualified higher?
Let me see. Norris was P13 and Piastri was P16.
Oh, sure. So they weren't that far, but yeah.
Yeah, they weren't that far apart.
Anyways, ended up at P6 and P8, so that's great for McLaren.
Great for McLaren.
Great for McLaren. That's great for McLaren.
Great for McLaren.
That's great for McLaren.
Great for McLaren.
Great for McLaren.
And McLaren recently, like in between last race and this race, let go of their, I think it was technical director. I don't know. They're
making some changes.
Yeah.
Sure. Interesting.
Yes, technical director James Key.
Oh.
Is no more. Dunzo. And I think they are trying to not have one technical director, but like 3 collaborative directors of like different
interesting but cool
areas of expertise around the car. So we'll see.
Yeah. Also, good job this week, everyone who finished.
Yes.
But no, honestly, Yuki Tsunoda, first points of the season in the worst car of the year.
Yeah, objectively the worst car of the year, or so far.
He's been looking good.
I know. I know. I'm just like, yeah.
I'm excited.
I know that I do think that there's like a general sense of like people recognizing that Yuki is doing a lot better.
Yeah, I agree.
And is like taking it more seriously, and like he looks good in the car.
He does. He
like
looks more confident. He seems more calm, honestly, for the most part.
A little bit. I don't know.
He still has his radio moments, which we love.
I know, we do love them. Like the announcers are always like, he's got to get some mind management. And I'm always like, but it's kind of funny.
Let him go. That's funny. We like it.
But I am curious what he's going to do because his contract is up. And so I'm hoping that, A, people want him as a driver.
That he's in demand.
Yes.
Because I think he's proving himself.
He's extracting a lot of performance out of that car.
Yeah. And it doesn't have anything else to give. To
finish P11 in the previous races and then P10 in this race.
Yeah.
In that poorly performing of a car. I don't know.
He's defending well. He knows how to manage the car better. Like, he just understands it more. And he understands when it's worth fighting for and when it's not. And like,
I mean, he was able to hold Magnussen off for a very long time. Like, they were fighting for a good back and forth time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was awesome. Like, that's just good racing. That's fun.
Exactly. And yeah, again, in a not so great car. So
definitely. Also, big winner, gotta say, Nico Hülkenberg. This is exciting.
Nico Hülkenberg.
Yes. In a Haas.
Which
is doing better anyways, which is wonderful to see. But Nico Hülkenberg, man, it's exciting. Like P7 he ends up. That's incredible.
I know.
Started P10, ends up in P7, and he was racing. Yeah, he was racing in that range the whole time and looking great.
Yeah.
Just fantastic. Yeah, I love it. And Kevin Magnussen was doing pretty good coming from the back a little further. But Nico had a great weekend the whole time. Like, he qualified better. He's racing better. Like, he was just clean the whole time.
He looked good.
He did. Yeah, he looked, looked like he's been doing this for a while, which he has, but yeah.
But it can be hard to come back, from retirement.
Exactly. Oh, Checo had a great race.
Yeah.
Great race. Started from the back of the grid.
All the
way from the back because he had something weird happen.
I think there's something with the brakes.
Yeah. In qualifying, Q1. Oh, you're doing the eyebrows.
I'm doing the eyebrows. I'm doing the eyebrows because we have a conspiracy theory that we think that when Checo starts to perform well, Red Bull are little saboteurs.
Okay, but let's be clear, we don't actually think this. We want to be, but it's like,
I mean, there were times last season where he was performing well, and then all of these pit stops were
sudden,
longer than Red Bull's typical. They're like typically on it.
Normally under 3 seconds. They kind of set that precedent in the sport.
And
they're known for that.
Yeah, there were a few ones that were like a little sketchy to me.
Yeah, it was weird.
And then he won. He won last race. He got second the previous
they're
one.
Like, oh, you can't qualify. You're gonna start from the back.
Yeah, it's subtle things that you can't pin.
No,
you can't pin as being intentional, but they come up at these
and like
eyebrow-raising moments.
If you saw a headline that said that this happened, you wouldn't be surprised.
Yes.
Right?
That's
like,
the other
thing.
I'd be
like, oh, yeah, I guessed it.
Right? Honestly, it's something that's like, it's not that
no
wild of a thought.
It's not. I mean, clearly the Verstappens have done worse.
Yes, clearly.
Than sabotage a car.
Literally, so...
Just minorly.
You never know.
Because like it is hard to believe that a team would sabotage.
No,
car.
I think that would be.
I don't think that's necessarily realistic and correct.
It makes no sense.
It really makes sense that they find that balance of like, oh yeah, get him out of qualifying, but make sure he has a great car for the race.
Yeah, that perfect balance.
Yeah, so that he can make up a lot but not beat Max.
Yeah, no, there's no way. We have no facts.
No. But
no figures.
Jokes might. This is what I'm saying now.
Oh my God, yeah, as like a third party.
Right? Like he's always around. Like if he's crushed someone's skull before, like this is not a big deal.
Daddy Verstappen.
Just saying. Okay, so new conspiracy theory. I love it. It's just the Verstappens.
It's just the Verstappens.
Not Red Bull, but the Verstappens. Yeah. All right. So good job, Checo. And driver of the day.
Yeah.
So, and he deserves it, honestly. Great race. Aston Martin. Big winner again. Yes. Most consistent. It's like,
yes.
Well, aside from Red Bull, because Red Bull's always winning, but like, always in third place.
Always in, yeah.
Alonso far, 3 third places. 3 podiums, all in third place. That's fantastic. And Alonso's having a great time.
He is. He's really enjoying himself. He seems very happy.
He does. Like, first time ever.
Right? I'm like, I've never not seen him.
Yeah.
Like, not grumpy.
Right?
I feel
he's
like.
always mad at somebody. But now he's always happy. Even with Lewis.
Even with Lewis. Yeah.
He's like saying hell of a drive to Lewis. Also one of the winners. Big winner of the day.
Yes, big winner of the day.
So good to see this. Yeah.
Yeah, no, but Alonso in a post-race interview was like, oh, every time I tried to like test Lewis or get closer to Lewis, he was able to just extend his time just like a little bit, and he was like driving like the champion that he is. And I was like,
all right, softening up in your old age.
If you like Lewis, I like you. Right. So I guess
maybe that's what he's doing. He's like, everybody loves Lewis. Like,
I gotta get on this. I gotta squash the beef that we had.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Everyone hates me because I hate Lewis.
But also Lewis did participate in that.
The feud. Oh, for sure. For sure.
It is not all.
He's not 100% innocent, but like Alonso definitely was not cool.
Yeah.
And problematic, and
But now he seems to be.
He's doing great.
In good spirits. He seems to have a good relationship with his team.
He found his people.
In Aston Martin.
And the Strolls.
Billionaire Lawrence Stroll.
Lawrence.
Lance strikes again though, because Lance was the one who hit Charles.
Oh my word. Man, Lance. Really, like
bro.
He's taken over the Latifi hits this year. Like,
oh my god.
That's rough. Man, Lance,
I know. When is Lawrence gonna let Lance go?
Never.
That's my question.
Never. Like,
I know.
If he can get the car to a place where Alonso could win a championship, and then Stroll is good.
Yeah,
like, he's
Stroll
good enough to get second in the best car on the grid.
Yeah.
So that's all you need. You just need a championship driver also on the team.
Yeah. No. There's no reason to fire your son.
I guess
he's doing well in the car.
Yeah, he's fine. He's kind of derpy, but
it's a little Canadian.
Good stuff. Good race.
Up until like the end where everything shit hit the fan.
It was awesome. Would have loved to see the Mercedes, two of them on the podium.
I know. Which
should have been that way, but oh well.
Yeah.
Part of that is Mercedes' fault. Well, most of it is because it was a failure. Yeah. It wasn't.
Yeah, it was like a power unit failure.
It wasn't.
So.
It really was their fault. So, yeah.
Yeah. And there was that when Lewis got out of the car and was like trying to find his team and his team wasn't there. Apparently that was because there was a security breach and there were a bunch of like fans trying to come in and like take things from the garage and whatnot. So the
Aussies.
So his team was trying to pack things up.
Sure.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, that's sad. Like,
I know there was an interview with him where he was like asked like, what does this mean to Mercedes? And he was like, well, to be honest, I don't know what it means to the team because I haven't seen any of them. And he was like, but to me, I'm really proud. I think it's a great win.
It was
huge.
Was like,
someone tell him they're just packing up the shit.
Right? Like, tell him we're going to celebrate later. It's going to be okay, Lewis.
Oh, man.
That's too bad. Yeah, he really deserves the celebration. He's worked really hard for podiums.
I'm sure he got it.
Yeah, I'm sure he did. He'll be fine.
I'm not worried about it.
About the 7-time world champion.
Were there other
most of our
winners?
Well, I mean, Verstappen, Max, obviously.
Yes, the actual winner.
The actual race winner.
For sure. I guess that's true.
But it's just like too easy.
That car is so fast.
It's so fast.
It's so annoying. It's like, Jesus, chill out.
Especially with 4 DRS zones. Like, come on.
I know.
Like, there's never going to be a chance of anybody winning that race. Well, or any race so far. Because it's just the Red Bull. Yeah.
I know, yeah.
So
and that's what you were saying before, was that the previous time we recorded this episode. Was that like having both Mercedes up at the front would have been their best chance to win.
And I'm still not sure that they could have
won. No, I don't think they could have.
I don't think they could have.
Because that car is just so fast.
I think inevitably Max would have gotten past both of them. Either way, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But that was their only chance. It's like if George were to stay out front with him, with Lewis, then maybe.
Yeah, but otherwise,
one car holding it up would give the other car enough chance to get ahead, so that you're not going straight from DRS zone to passing to DRS zone to passing.
I know there was no way in that respect, but
yeah. So
congrats. My voice just cracked. I'm like
congrats.
like a young man hitting puberty.
Happy birthday.
I didn't say it was my birthday.
It always happens on your birthday. That's how puberty works.
Your voice cracks on your birthday, and then you're a man.
Well.
No, but I'm ill, if you can't tell by my nasally voice.
That's my bad. I'm sorry. I got you sick.
Yeah, it's okay.
Because I got sick. Because I don't even know how running errands, but yeah. Okay, driver of the day. Driver of the day. Obviously, Checo was driver of the day, as we mentioned, as voted by the world, whoever was watching live and voting.
Mm-hmm. And I think we generally agree with that.
Oh, totally. He had a great race.
Yeah.
Great race.
I also think Lewis was a winner.
I was going to say there's two others that I think could have been really wise choices. And Lewis is one of them for sure, because he had an amazing race. He did such a good job of maintaining that distance with Alonso for such a long time when he wasn't confident in the tires. It was incredible.
Do you think he was bluffing, though?
No. I mean, maybe, but no. Because it was kind of an early pit, and like...
But why give that much information away?
That's a good question.
He went on the radio at least twice, or at least 3 times.
Well, it was mostly... the other times were about like how quick the Aston Martins were. But to that point, like you were saying, Alonso even said at the end how good a job he was doing with it, and like how impressive that is.
Yeah.
So like I think he was saying what was happening and what he was feeling, but just doing an incredible job of maintaining it all. Because he's Lewis Hamilton. Yeah.
He is Lewis Hamilton. That is a fact.
He is Lewis Hamilton.
Lewis Hamilton is Lewis Hamilton.
Yes. And then also Nico Hülkenberg.
Nico.
I could make a strong argument for Nico Hülkenberg, driver of the day, because that's just really impressive. His first points.
P7.
Highest position for Haas. Who knows? Maybe forever.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
No, come on. They can do better.
Yeah. But still, great race. And especially when Magnussen didn't do as well. He's just really proving himself. He's looking really smooth in that car. And it gives me hope for Haas.
Truly.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And you always got to have hope for Haas.
You got to hope
we love Haas.
Yeah. But yeah,
Gunter.
Definitely, I could say Hülkenberg would be a good contender.
I bet Gunter got right on that phone to call Gene.
Oh, he got on that phone and said, hey, Gene.
I got to phone Gene. He's always talking to Gene, man.
You got to talk to Gene.
I mean, you got to talk to Gene, good or bad. But
you got to talk to Gene, yeah. He's got to know the deets.
He's got to know that Nico got Haas points.
Yeah, even though he was probably watching the race.
I know. Somewhere. Does Gene just like not...
He's got to watch the race.
Right?
Does he not have a TV? Like, come on. He's got a TV.
Gene's got a TV. Gene Haas has a TV.
I mean, we know this.
we
billionaire know this. Gene Haas.
Listener
questions.
Okay, listen up.
Listeners.
You listen up. None of you sent those questions this week.
Not a one.
So you know what?
Send us a question at motosportpod@gmail.com so we can answer it.
It's easy. Just type in that email. Or you could...
Any question.
just slide into the DMs.
You could DM us.
On any platform.
Anywhere.
Just ask a question.
Send us a letter. Carrier pigeon even.
No, because we're not giving our address out.
But pigeons know the way.
Okay. I don't want pigeons at my house, though.
Carrier. Oh, sure. Okay.
Carrier pigeons are pigeons.
Yeah.
If that was what you were going to say.
Yeah, carrier pigeons.
Okay. Anyway. We didn't get a listener question, so Josiah, would you like to present what we'll be doing?
In honor of Australia and Daniel Ricciardo.
Even though he's not on the grid. Correct. And Oscar Piastri is on the grid.
And we're not talking about Oscar Piastri. We're talking about Daniel Ricciardo. So we're going to do our Daniel Ricciardo impressions.
Best Daniel Ricciardo impressions.
Absolutely.
Hey, Cyril. You want to get a tattoo?
Tattoo. What tattoo? Wait, I'm losing it.
I know you're trying.
Tattoo. And honey badger. honey badger. It's tough. Oh, wait.
You got it.
This is the best one. Okay. Do you want it to be called Daniel to Survive?
Daniel to Survive.
And yes, we do want it to be called Daniel to Survive.
Yeah.
Honestly, literally, that's what the show should be from now on, is Daniel to Survive, and it's about Daniel getting back into Formula One.
Oh my God.
Okay, this is genius. It's a spin-off. Yeah.
Daniel to Survive.
We want this.
Wow.
Hashtag Daniel to Survive.
Hashtag Daniel to Survive.
Do you want it to be called Daniel to Survive? Oh, man.
Oh, Daniel.
Danny Ricciardo. We do love him.
We do.
He's great.
Oh, but we also didn't talk about the honorary Australian, which is Bottas.
Oh.
Because
he was... Why is he an honorary Australian?
Well, I mean, he's not, but
honorary Aussie.
They were just like... He gives off the very, I guess, Australian vibe with the mullet and just his whole vibe.
And the stash.
And
yeah.
So.
Because Australia is now, when was the mullet like super popular here? Was that the 90s?
I don't know.
I feel like 80s. It never goes away. Like,
yeah, it's always around.
Back. Yeah.
Obviously, Bottas has one.
Right. And he's the most relevant.
Yeah. Most relevant driver, most relevant mullet haver.
Bottas. Valtteri. Yeah.
Anyway, this is what happens when you don't send us listener questions.
Yeah, we just ramble. We don't know what to do. This is your fault.
Listener.
All right. So, anyways, if you have a question, send it to us at motosportpod@gmail.com or DM us.
The last segment. This is the segment that will actually be
new. We haven't done this segment yet. I mean, we have on previous episodes, but we haven't tried to record this. It was right before this segment that we realized we were no longer recording.
Rough, I know.
Yeah. So anyways, Minnesota moment. Okay, that was terrible.
Very John Ralphio of you, though.
Thanks.
Was not a compliment.
It wasn't? Oh, man.
Anyway, Minnesota moment.
For me, the Minnesota moment was a little bit vague, but it was the sun in the eyes. Because in the spring and fall specifically, there's always like that time of year, spring and fall, like around daylight saving time, on or off, that right in the afternoon, like in rush hour, the sun is right in your eyes and it's below the visor, so you can't pull it down and it's just going to be in your eyes. And sunglasses don't help because everything's reflecting and it's terrible and you just can't see anything.
Oh my God. I'm just moving because I agree. Oh my
Good moving.
God. It is so true. The angle that the sun is at.
It's that angle.
And it's always around time that you like might be driving to dinner or to
It's a very
happy hour.
It's driving time.
Yeah.
But the worst time for the sun to be at that angle.
Or like it's like at like 8:30 on your way to work. Like it's I've had that before.
In the morning, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's
terrible. It's terrible.
Debilitating.
And especially right now, like, because in Minnesota, we have potholes everywhere. Pothole galore. So if you cannot see the road because of the sun, you're done for. Like,
oh my God,
your
car could be destroyed.
Literally.
These potholes are car eating potholes.
Truly awful. It's been a rough one. Like, this has been a rough one for potholes. Yeah.
Wow.
The worst year for potholes I've seen it. Maybe ever.
I mean, it's like there's not even any road. It's like, was there even a road here to begin with? Or
the road would be more effective if it was just a dirt road. Or gravel.
Oh my God. I can't get over the sun in the eyes as a Minnesota moment.
I'm glad you enjoyed that.
I really enjoyed it.
That's the thing. Like, I identify with this sun and how dangerous it feels.
It feels so scary.
It's terrifying. And I cannot believe they made them do a grid restart in that sun.
Honestly, now that I'm connecting the dots and I'm realizing that I have been in the position that those drivers have been in, I'm like, whoa.
How dare the FIA? Like, it makes it that much worse.
The FIA, come to Minnesota right now and drive at 6 p.m. I guarantee you won't have a good time. It won't be easy.
Nope.
Drive down 35th to get on the highway.
Yeah.
35
to 35. Honestly, that road's terrible. 28th is terrible. 26 is terrible. Man. It's all terrible.
It's all terrible. Wow.
Yeah, so that's my Minnesota moment.
Wow.
Do you have one?
I do have one. I should have gone first.
Oh, man. We didn't know each other's moments, so there's no way we could have known.
Couldn't have known. But my Minnesota moment was during the press conference with the team principals, and it was... Otmar was present.
Yes, our favorite Minnesotan team principal.
And it was just everything about Otmar that was Minnesotan. He was sitting with his like legs crossed, and he didn't really look at the camera, and was just like asked a question about the performance of the two drivers, and he was like, well, one of our drivers started pretty far back in the grid, and then by the end of the race, that driver got to pretty high up on the grid, and that driver was Pierre. And I was like,
and we're like, we all know this.
Like, Otmar,
we saw the race.
You're not adding any new information or any value.
Oh my word, that's amazing.
And I was like thinking about it, and I was just like, if Otmar, the next Winter Olympics, if Otmar showed up on the U.S. curling team, I don't think I would notice or register. I would just be like, oh, it's another Duluth dad.
Yeah, definitely. That's amazing. Because honestly, the Duluth dads dominate the Winter Olympics curling.
Yes.
They do.
And Otmar would... That's Otmar.
That's Otmar. Duluth dad Otmar.
Duluth dad Otmar.
Oh, man, that's good. I want to see Otmar curling now.
Right?
I want to see that. That has to happen. They have to put that on the next Drive to Survive. Je m'appelle Otmar.
La vie en rose. I've been practicing that one.
That's a
man.
good Minnesota moment.
It was a pretty good one. Sun in the eyes.
Sun in the eyes.
Really tickled my fancy. I enjoyed.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad you enjoyed that.
Oh, we did.
And we are still
successfully record.
Okay. Fingers crossed here that we actually upload it properly and don't lose it somehow.
Yes. All we got to do is save it and send it to Jared.
Yeah.
Will we find a way to end? Oh, like when the next race is, and we'll see you then.
Great.
We'll say like a thing of like, oh, the next race is, and we'll see you then. Okay, the next race is actually in 4 weeks.
Yeah.
In Azerbaijan. I wouldn't.
It's Sunday, April 30th at 6 a.m. Azerbaijan, Baku. This has been Motosport. We'll see you next time.
Forever young.
I wanna be forever young.
Do you really
Wanna live
forever?
I'm like so off key now. I can't find it. Forever young. Was that it?
That was. Oh my god! Wow.
All right, let's try that.
I'm gonna hit recording.
Oh, okay, good.